So then, we are back with more understandings from the Renewed Covenant, from the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation is from the original manuscript of the prophets of old, from the prophets of Israel. So then we can study, and most importantly, as the Gentile world then becomes more acquainted on how to study the Scripture, it's very imperative then, step by step, so to speak, baby steps, on how to read the Holy Scripture as per the prophets of old, and the way they taught the Israelis on how to read the Scriptures from the time of old. So then, understanding from this viewpoint, we know China then is going to be the leader of the trades market of the future, because we find in Revelation the third part of the ships is an indicator of the future of the main decision-making part of the world of the trades system. As we understand, China has the most reasonable prices of products, and they are serving the world for many years. The reason why they have the largest military in the world is because they're going to be using those in order to transport and escort the cargoes to those regions at war. And they're going to maintain the peace via trade. In other words, they're going to make those countries responsible, not being so childish and waging war against each other, because that's childish. So they're going to enforce a trade, and they're going to then to eliminate war. War is stupidity, and we are doing the time of restoration. Wars are prohibited, 100% prohibited. It's a time of rebuilding. And also, understanding the Chinese then coming with a specific system of trade, many countries, while emerging from many areas of the past where some of them, they experience wars, they experience a lot of resources wasted, and thinking of elections and governments and what to do in the future, it is very important giving you the understanding from heaven, from Yahweh himself, spoke through his holy prophets for the benefit of his people and also the Gentiles of the time of the end, because he knew certainly then the nations would be in trouble. And then he provided a system for the end, so then countries around the world, they could line up themselves with this specific system yet to be implemented. So they don't have to make any kind of a system of their own and try to understand from their own devices what to do and what to invest and so on and so forth. It's not required. Per the scripture of the Hebraic and Aramaic translations, we find precisely the nation leading of the end. It's China. And the reason why this system is going to be so powerful that the nations, peoples then would do trade with her, it's because they're going to use this most simple computer system, and any person from any home around the world can invest. So then the system is yet to be implemented in a larger scale, so then people can do trade. A simple person from any country around the world is going to log in, and with the money that this country uses, is going to have the money exchanged for doing trade over the computer, and then they're going to do trade. It's going to be the most important time of the economics of the entire world, because it speaks of every nation then being prosperous. It's a time of prosperity. Prosperity because Yahweh has provided them, because it's a time of rebuilding. And then the prophet spoke, even the heathen would then experience the mighty hand of Yahweh. The heathen, he included even the heathen, the Gentiles, in the plan. Is he not great? So then it's a great time of prosperity around the world, because this system is going to be implemented and people are going to simply do trade with this country. As simple as you log in a computer, then you do trade with this specific system, and then they will do trade. So then, those countries emerging, and some of those, they have a line of many years of a single leader, for instance. Some of them are 25 years, some of them 10 years. And people are asking if the country is going to improve even further. Until a certain extent, it is understandable, justifiable. But then, it's imperative, let these people know that they have an understanding of this time of the end where they can start learning the Chinese way of doing trade via computer. It's extremely important. While we are during this transformation of the computer age, where many nations yet they are educating themselves, they are being acquainted with the computers, online, in internet, then it's very wise for each nation then emerging to already study the Chinese system of trade. So that when the system then is launched, then they know what to do with it. They don't have to waste any more time trying to figure what kind of move the nation should be doing. Should they be doing trade with this nation, that nation? How would be then a singular system used to make sure they would maintain a track of what they do trade with? This is already set in place. So then it gives those leaders, in terms of so many years in charge, the future before it takes place. So then they can educate their people, they can make already the proper studies and ordering computers and then online systems. And they begin to gear the people towards this particular end of time trade. Because this system is going to come up, China is going to be the main source around the world because of obviously the most inexpensive products. But then does not mean that they would not do trade with other countries. But the main language of the market, because this new system is going to be extremely friendly use, any person around the world with a basic personal computer and internet capability can do trade with her. Though strangely speaking, because China is led by mostly men, yet is motherland, so go figure. But then, people at least they have an idea what's coming. It's a great gift from Yahweh to us. Because rather than the nations trying to going on around and being blind of what to do with the market, because the market is extremely fragile at the moment. People are holding to their money. They are concerned with the Europe and then the euro and then stocks and bonds and then investments. The whole situation is kind of out of whack. But then the scripture already gave us what's coming. So we should push forward then for the Chinese to establish and to launch the system, so then it goes around the world and people can start to trade. Because this is what's coming, like it or not. Mostly because of the teachings of Shaliach Shaul during the time of his ministry. He went through the countries of Asia, and they were beginning to be educated of the kingdom to come way of doing trade. So interesting enough, then at the end of time, they would be the leaders of the end. Mostly China. And these prophecies were spoken a long time ago. We are speaking of at least 1,900 years ago. Those were already very neatly recorded, nicely placed, The whole situation was tranquility from Aleph to Tau. But we are rediscovering those because of time of rebuilding, meaning then rebuilding of the scripture, rebuilding of the Torah, understanding how the holy prophets used to give the information, how they read those prophecies, how they related with them, times and seasons. It's a huge time of rebuilding. From the very instructions, not the changing of them. Try to understand, the Torah is absolutely rock solid, never changes. Only the structure, the way they were taught, should then return, because then we Gentiles can also learn. Because understanding per seasons and then prophecies were taught by the Hebrews. That's why we want to learn then the Hebrew way of reading the scripture. So then the nations, they know what to do. So when they have a main bulk of their investments and they are thinking what to do with it, always have in mind, China is going to lead the world's market. So leave some space on the agenda, and then when you begin to observe then the Chinese launching their trade system, you already know for sure what to do. Please stay tuned, much more coming up.